Hello YouTube, this is Chainskull and welcome to Map Making Mondays. Today I have done, this week I have done a large overhaul. I have moved all of the lobbies and all this stuff that was over there, and now it is in that corner of the spawn chunks. That's probably the big thing that I've done, but I've tweaked with little bits of everything which I'm going to be going through. Probably the first thing I am going to explain is that the game name has changed from We Need the Zerg or something along the lines of that. That name has changed to Labyrinth Raiders. Labyrinth because they're going to be going through a series of rooms which can be resembled to a labyrinth of rooms, but yeah, and Raiders because they're raiding the labyrinth instead of a Zerg. But yeah, anyway, what I've done with that is the scoreboard teams have changed from Zerg Hero to Raiders and Hero. The Game Lord one has stayed the same so far. What else have I tweaked? I'll start with the shop. Previous episode I have made the shop system. The destinations are still near here. They're not actually into the shop yet, but here is the system to have the shop on and off. So currently it's on because of the redstone pulsing, but we can turn it off. And what that system has done is, well, basically this has placed a redstone block, placed an air block, and placed an air block. So the first one will be setting a redstone block here. That is so this receives one pulse and stops the clock. This redstone block then gets replaced with air, and then this redstone block that is supposed to be here is replaced by air, just so the entire system is completely turned off. But that's so that when the players have joined the game, they're in the ready room, they can't do the 4-jump system and get teleported to the shop before the game starts. So these command blocks are currently run by buttons, but they're going to be somehow connected into the ready system. So once it's gone through all of the system, the game begins. The shop will be turned on. When the game finishes, the shop will be turned off, and these are just basically the commands that are going to be used. So that's the shop. What else? I'll explain this in a minute. The classes now have their items. So the warrior has a wooden sword. The mage currently has a stick, which is I may change this to a blaze rod so it looks more like a staff or a wand, something like that. And the archer has a bow which has infinity on it, and they're given an arrow because you can't shoot the bow without the arrow. The second thing to the class system is each player that chooses a class will gain 10 gold on the scoreboard. That is so that their name appears on the right hand side of the screen, and it's a bit of starting money. I'm not sure what the prices of items in the shop are going to be at the moment because there hasn't been any playtesting, and I'm nowhere near that close to the development yet. But that's the class system. The ready system has had 2 key features implemented into it. One is for sorting out the hero, and one is for sorting out the game lord. I'll do the game lord first because the heroes is slightly longer. So when the random player gets teleported, they will then join the game lord team instead of the raiders team, and it will clear their inventory so that they don't have a sword or a bow or a staff or any of the other items that the players are going to be getting. And that is simply what the Game Lord is doing so far. The only other thing that will happen to the Game Lord is that there is going to be a gold generation loop happening, so that he continues to gain gold, but he will also gain gold for when players die and when the hero dies. So those are going to be implemented in another chunk somewhere. I'm kind of splitting it, so this is the building side, this is the redstone side, but there may need to be more building, and I mean the redstone can always go underneath, which that's completely fine. So move on to the hero. The player that is selected will be put onto the hero's team, and then these command blocks here will test for the class score of the hero. So the warrior is a class number 1, the archer is class number 2, and the mage is class number 3. And what the command I've got in is it will test for the player in the specific area of the hero's chamber. It will test for those and to see if they have a class score of 1 and a minimum of 1. Because if you don't have the minimum, it will do any player that has 1 or 0. That doesn't really matter for the warrior, but for the archer, if I just left it as the class score of 2, it will class anything that is a ranger and a warrior, so I need the minimum of 2, and self-explanatory, same for the mage. These extra ones are just to say what class it is. And there's a little thing that I've pointed out to myself is I will need to run the command again to reset the comparators, because these comparators stay on once the player has been detected. But a simple way for this to be done is once the game starts to run this command again, because it won't actually find a player in the hero's chamber, so these comparators will turn off. I don't need to run the entire system again, it will just be these 3 command blocks here. And the extra thing I put is or replace the command blocks, whichever is easier. Now what I mean by replacing the command blocks is I can use a set block command and fill in all the details that are in each of these command blocks and have them just get replaced really quickly at the end of the system. But yeah, I'll probably end up just rerunning this command though. The reason for this is because the hero, depending what class they are, will gain additional items or abilities. I have written them down now, but these may change. Depending on their class, they will gain a defensive shout, an aggressive shout, or a support shout for warrior, archer, and mage respectively. And the warrior will gain a slightly better sword, the mage will get a slightly better bow, and the mage will gain a fireball attack. What I mean by that is they're going to be... I'm going to implement a system so that depending which direction the player, if they are a mage and the hero, are looking, and if they select a certain item in their inventory, it will launch a fireball, which will probably be a fire charge in the direction that they are looking. It'll probably be every 45 degrees, so you've got the north, I don't know which way north or whatever is, so you've got north, northeast, east, southeast, south, and so on all the way around. So there will be 8 possible directions, but I may implement more than that, I'm not sure, it depends how complicated the system can get. But that is the ready system. So I guess I'll move on to the shops, because that's a new feature. This video is probably going to be on a lot longer than I originally planned, but I can't help it. So these 2 shops, this one is the heroes and this one is the raiders. They're going to be the exact same apart from this corner. This corner is in response to this bit of redstone here, which I'm going to explain. What this corner is going to be is when the player does the jump things and comes into the shop, they'll be able to run into this area defined by the orange carpet, and in this area I want their experience to trickle down 10 experience at a time, not 10 levels or a level, just 10 experience, so they can witness the bar slowly fading away. And that is going to be going to, like, into the hero, and somewhere along this wall they are going to be spending the experience that they get from the raiders on additional powers or buffs or items that will affect everybody. At the moment I don't know how to make this system so that, for example, if there's 4 players in here, all 4 trickle their 10 experience at a time, but the hero will gain 40 experience at a time because there's 4 people doing it. I've got to look into doing that, but hopefully it's not too hard. Possibly be able to implement that by next week. I can't guarantee that, but I'll try. But that is the shop systems. These are basically teleports systems which will teleport the player, well, teleport the raiders to whatever room that they're currently in, as well as the hero that's their teleporter. But yeah. Now on to the new lobby system. As you can see, it is a lot smaller, and when the player enters the game they'll get teleported here, and then they'll instantly have their 3 classes to choose from. On this back wall I may have a how-to and rules, or I may have the opportunity for somebody to press a button and hear the rules spoken by the announcer. Now what I'm going to do is I'll show you the warrior just as an example to show you how you get to the ready room. So the warrior walk in, get teleported, and they will gain their sword. That's just an arrow from earlier testing, but that's simply they'll get teleported into their respective pods, and they'll get teleported into here. And these are the new chambers. This sword is unbreaking as well, and this is where the change class is. I'm gonna knock out the glass on the front of here and here to begin with, just so I can show you how the system is working. But the system is also done through Talvar commands now. So that's the hero, and this is the game lord. So what I'll quickly show you in the chat, I don't know if you'll see my mouse, but it will go, the game is about to begin, and the announcer sound file will be played. Once the player is teleported into the heroes area, it will say what class they are, because that's what the system is built around at the moment. Announce the heroes selected in both text and audio, and then a little while later the game lord will be announced in text and audio, and you'll notice that I no longer have any items. So I'll repair those in a moment. I'll reset my class, and it also gets rid of the gold. I think the only thing left is the beginning of the room. Now at the minute this just looks like a basic platform, and there's some lighting bugs underneath it, but if you haven't noticed already, I've been working in chunks. The ready room is slightly overlapping because of the hero and game lord chambers, but that's actually because of the radius that I used for selecting random players. But anyway, this is actually covering 4 chunks exactly. I believe this is going to be a large enough area for the people to fight in. This is just a simple flat at the minute, but I have various different ideas that I'm going to be implementing, such as fire themes, water theme, grass, forest, snow, desert, temple, wither, the end, air slash sky, all different types of themes per room. There may be multiples of the same theme but with different surroundings. So for example, if there was a forest one, there may be like a giant tree in the middle, or something like that, and then the other one might just be like an opening in the middle with some trees around the outside. I don't know, that's just a really simple basic idea of what might be built, but yeah, I think that's about it. The only thing that I haven't added to this is the location of where the Game Lord is going to be. I originally imagined him being like 20 blocks above this area, but I'm not 100% sure about that, because depending on the amount of space I have and the amount of rooms that I'm going to create, I may need to stack them. So if he was on top, the players inside, well, he needs glass to see down into the room to choose where to spawn his minions, but the players will be able to look up and see where the Game Lord is. Now if they look up, see through the glass, they'll be able to see the area above them, unless there's a roof above the Game Lord. But if there's a roof above the Game Lord, it's going to make the area completely dark and everything gets confusing and everybody goes meh. But sorry about that, but yeah, so that's about it. I mean, I have spoken a lot this episode. The main goal for the next episode, I believe I'm going to try and do the experience transfer system. I'm going to need a couple people to help test this out once I've figured it out, but at the moment I don't have a server for testing, so if anybody would like to help, then feel free to leave a comment and tell me when you're free to help, like your best times or whatever. But hopefully I'll be able to sort this out pretty soon and get people in for testing, and I guess that basically covers everything that I've done this week. So once again, thanks for watching. Remember to leave a like and comment on the video with any feedback that you have. Subscribe so you can stay tuned for more videos coming soon, and I'll see you next time.